What's up, guys? Today's video is all about how to choose the best diet for you and your goals. It's No Shave November too, so I absolutely look like a caveman right now, but that's okay. Ignore the face and let's talk about how to choose the best diet for you. All right, so number one, whenever you're looking at the diet approach for yourself, here's what you need to do. You need to think about how long you can stick to the dietary protocols that you're going to put in place. So when looking at higher carb diets or higher fat diets like keto or Atkins or something like that, you don't need to be thinking about, am I going to get a quick result from this? You need to be thinking about, what are my results going to look like 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 3 years from now? Am I going to be able to stick to this? And if I am, how long am I going to be able to stick to this diet? You know, it's okay if you put a dietary protocol in place where you might be only able to stick to it for 6 months or a year. That's fine, but you need to have an idea in your mind of, okay, this diet might be tougher than something else, but I know I'll be able to stick to it for at least a year or at least 6 months or something like that before transitioning to something else. Sticking to something is what we call adherence, right? And adherence is the number one thing when it comes to these diets that we see out there, because the issue is this: if you can only stick to a diet for maybe a few days before you're binging on the type of food that maybe is restricted, for example, like keto, if the transition period to keto, which might take up to a week or 3 weeks even for some people, and you go from eating a large amount of carbs to basically no carbs, that transition might be tough mentally as well as physically. So you might not be able to stick to that diet for that initial transition period, which can cause a couple things. Number one, obviously you're not going to get good results. Number two, though, you're going to start beating yourself up mentally because you're like, man, I just can't seem to stick to a diet. So what am I supposed to do? Like, which diet is going to work for me? I'm such a failure. You know, you start to have these mental games in your head where you're not there when it comes to nutrition. You're just not positive. You're not going to be, in a right state of mind when it comes to sticking to a diet. So adherence is the number one thing. Number two is you need to think about the type of lifestyle that you live, right? So if you are someone who is constantly eating out or constantly, having to create food for your kids, or maybe you're someone who is traveling a lot, right? And you need to have convenience. You need to think about the diet that you're gonna put in place and whether or not it'll fit into your lifestyle. Most people think, wow, that diet looks great. Someone's getting great results. They're ripped or they lost a lot of weight. That must be the best diet to follow. And they start to try to follow it without thinking about, what am I going to do when I travel Monday through Friday and I don't have access to a kitchen most days? Or what am I going to do when my kids want to eat at night? How are we going to implement meals that fit this nutrition strategy and still make my kids happy, right? Because obviously, in a perfect world, kids would eat super healthy and everything you're eating, but in reality, they're picky sometimes and they need to have things built around their needs as well. So think about your lifestyle, and if you're trying to put a diet in place that is not fitting your lifestyle, you're going to have a difficult time. So this kind of ties hand in hand with adherence. Tip number 3 is that, if you actually despise, certain types of foods, but your diet is built around those foods that you absolutely don't like, then you're going to have an issue, right? So food choice is a big deal. So if you're someone who really just loves high carb foods like potatoes or rice or oatmeal, and those are your favorites, then cutting them out completely is going to be an issue. Truth be told, mentally speaking, we need to make sure we have buy-in from a mental perspective to ensure that the diet that you put in place fits your preferences. There's, the studies out there show that pretty much all diets work. If you're restricting calories, if you're eating healthy foods, primarily organic, and you're controlling the amount of protein, carbs, and fats that you're taking in, then assuming those levels are at the right place, you will see results. Coupled with a smart and scientific backed exercise program, most diets will work. Once again though, if you're not looking at adherence and you're not looking at your overall lifestyle as well as food choices, then you're going to have a major issue. So guys, there's a lot of factors that go into choosing the best diet besides these three, but these three are really the most important. That's adherence, whether or not you can stick to something long term. And if it's only a short-term diet, what is your transition strategy? Most people don't have a transition strategy if they're following like a 12-week diet that's a little bit more restrictive. Tip number 2 is your lifestyle. If you're following a diet that requires you to eat at home, cook these fancy meals, and you're a traveler, you're someone who's always on the road or flying places, then you're going to have an issue. And then tip number 3 is food preference. If you're someone who prefers high-fat foods like steak, eggs, salmon, avocado, things like that, then you'll have an easier time with a high-fat diet versus someone who prefers high-carb foods and really despises things like steak, salmon, and avocados and higher fat items, who tries to follow a keto diet or a high-fat diet, then they're going to have a much bigger issue. Guys, the overall rules that should always govern your dietary approach are, number 1, the right amount of foods, right? So you want to eat calories based off of the amount that you need, right, and your overall activity. You want to choose healthy foods. Lean meats, fruits, vegetables should make up 80 to 90% of your foods. And then if you're following a higher fat approach, fill the rest of your calories in with nuts, seeds, avocados, cheese, things that are higher in fats. And then if you're following a higher carb approach, fill in the rest of your foods with high healthy carb options like sweet potatoes, regular potatoes, jasmine rice, as long as it sits well with your body. So the bonus tip that I have for you that I think will help you really think about this stuff is you need to be monitoring how these foods that you're eating every day, even if all the other factors are put in place, adherence, lifestyle, food choice, listen to how these foods are making you feel. If you're eating a higher carb diet, but you're always feeling low in energy, you're always feeling foggy, your cravings are out of control, it might be time to at least explore a different approach. Same is true for high fat. If you just absolutely feel like crap on a keto diet and it's been a couple of weeks and you've given it a shot and it's just not working for you, don't force it. Listen to your body. Your body is going to give you biofeedback that is going to tell you exactly what you need to be doing. The problem is we just don't listen to it. We're too stubborn. We're always looking for the magical pill. We're always looking for the approach that worked for someone who got ripped in 12 weeks. That stuff is sometimes good, but most of the time we need to just listen to our bodies. That is number 1. All right, guys. So if this video was helpful, just leave me a comment below. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Just hit the little subscribe button. And we put out 3 videos a week all around nutrition and fitness information that is going to help you fit health and fitness into your unique lifestyle and give you the results that you want so that you can take the stuff you get from health and fitness and apply it to every aspect of your life to take your life to the next level through health and fitness. So this is Josiah, thetruetransformation.com, and I will talk to you next time.